Hey guys, welcome back to another Underground Virtuosos video. My name is Paul. I'm a violin viola teacher located in San Diego, California. So today we're going to be focusing on a beginner symptom, the scratchy sound. Now, how many of us have played with a scratchy sound? Probably all of us, if not most of us. We all have gone through this when we first started learning violin or viola, right? And scratchy sound definitely doesn't help us feel better about ourselves and our playing. So we're gonna focus on that, address the problem, and hopefully get you going to start making a nicer sound that make you feel more motivated to sound even better, right? Okay, so let's get into it. The scratchy sound comes from one of the three things: bow speed, pressure, or contact point. Okay, so we're going to first talk about these things. Bow speed simply means how fast or how slow you move your bow. Okay, you can be going very, very fast, or you can go very, very slow. Okay, pressure, obvious. If you are playing very lightly, no pressure at all, or you're playing with a lot of pressure. Okay, and the last one is contact point. Now, contact point might not be the most obvious one for a lot of beginners, but contact point is where your bow is placed on the string. You could be placed anywhere between the fingerboard and the bridge, anywhere here. Okay, now I'm just gonna ask you to do one thing for me. I'm gonna ask you to take one of your fingers. I'm just gonna ask you to press down near the fingerboard area, and it should be very easy. Should be very easy to press the string down here. But then if you move your finger to the bridge part and you try to press, it's not moving very much. All right, so there's a lot more tension sitting near the bridge side than there is near the fingerboard side. Okay, so understanding all these terms is important for what we're going to talk about today. Now, for most beginners that I've encountered, when they have a scratchy sound, number one, it's because they don't use enough bow. Okay, so if you're playing, like, let's say you're learning Twinkles, Twinkle Little Star, and you're going like this. All right, oh, that doesn't sound very good. And notice I'm using like, an inch, if not less than that, of the bow. So first thing to make sure you're doing is to use a little bit more bow. Okay, so using a little bit more bow speed will definitely help your scratchy sound. All right, number two, it could be a pressure problem. And this one is probably a very obvious one where if you press too much, it's just going to sound very, very scratchy, especially when you pair it up with very, very small amount of bow movement. Okay, so we're going to try to use maybe the middle part of the bow. So if you divide your bow into three sections, we're going to use the middle section, and we're going to try to play a medium mezzo forte, so medium strong dynamic. Okay, and we're going to try to play that with enough bow speed and not too much pressure, but not too little as well. Now you can experiment. You can do the same amount of bow, and you can try to lighten up all the pressure, so no pressure basically. Okay, so the sound becomes very airy, very, very thin. Okay, now if I press a lot, and I mean a lot, and I use that much bow, okay, so that was probably 100% of my pressure. And notice it's definitely still down here a tad bit scratchy, a little bit rough, but it's not that bad. That's because I have the bow speed pairing up with it. Okay, so make sure that however much pressure you're trying to use, you have to be able to pair it up with how much bow you use. The more bow you use, and the faster it is, the more it's able to sustain the amount of pressure that you're adding onto the bow. Okay? All right, now last but not least, contact point. Now this one is very, very helpful if you understand and you know what you're looking for. So first suggestion is to practice maybe in front of the mirror. It's a little bit easier to see this way, like this. Okay, you can see where your bow is. If you just look here, sometimes you don't really see yourself playing, and you might not be aware of it. And that definitely doesn't help with contact point situation. So it's best to just kind of look in the mirror and learn to play while staring at the mirror. Okay, now contact point. If your contact point is closer to the fingerboard where there is less tension on the string, you won't be able to apply that much pressure. You won't be able to play a very, very big sound. This is why many teachers just say, oh, play near the fingerboard when you're trying to play softer, or play near the bridge where there's a lot of tension if you're trying to play louder. Okay, so one of the things to check is with the amount of pressure and bow speed you're using, is it suitable for the area you're playing in? Now, generally speaking, for you beginners, you're not worrying about, playing near the bridge or playing near the fingerboard. You're more worried about playing in the middle part, okay, directly in the middle, like this. So when you are practicing, I suggest you look in the mirror and make sure, okay, my bow is set in the middle now, and then you can start playing and see, are you able to control a nice bow speed, a nice bow pressure, right? But you can also experiment. Now let me demonstrate real quick for you. I'm going to try to play really, really loud on all three parts. I'm going to start in the middle, okay? And then I'm going to move towards the fingerboard, and I'm going to move towards near the bridge area. I'm going to use the same amount of speed and same amount of pressure for all three different sections. So in the middle, here we go. Fingerboard. Bridge. Okay, so as you heard, yeah, the least of them all, the worst sounding of them all is near the fingerboard. So if you are one of the new students trying to learn violin or viola and you're trying to play a nice sound, I would first suggest you to stay away from the fingerboard. Okay, a little tip and trick for you: if you are, if you are somebody who's very, 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 very young, or if you're a parent watching this video and you have a kid that's like really, really young trying to learn, it's good to take straws. Yeah, so drinking straws, like the thin, small ones, not the really, really small ones for coffee, but just regular like McDonald's size straws or something. And what you can do is you can try to put it in this hole right here in this F hole circle. You can also put one right here, okay, on this side. And what you can do is you can make sure that their bow is sitting between the straw and the bridge. So the straw will be coming out from here, and then the bow should be behind that, between the bridge and the straw. Okay, this is just a little trick to get them to not be playing too much near the fingerboard, and it shouldn't cost any money if you have just some straws lying around. Okay, so that's all the suggestions for you to have a better bow control of, not scratchy, not playing with a scratchy sound. So 3 things: speed, pressure, and contact point. You find a comfortable speed, comfortable pressure, and making sure it's in the right part for now, for beginners, probably just in the middle, right? With all three of these combinations, you should definitely be able to make a good sound, actually. Yeah. All right. So if you liked the video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Any questions, comments, leave it down below, and hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching.